Good morning on the Lounge Room Action News with our two head anchors, Penelope Fitzgerald and Susan Beatrice. With special guest student from Wolf Lake High School, Chris Manscuso. And head coach of football at Wolf Lake High School, Drew Drummond. And a parent from Wolf Lake High School, Hank Hill.
This October, Governor Jerry Brown of California vetoed a bill that had been previously passed by the California State House and Senate, saying it was illegal for states, public and charter schools to charge students to participate in extracurricular activities such as sports. The common term for this is pay to play, and it was shut down by the California legislative branch under the notion that the state constitution promised a free education for its youth, and that extracurricular activities are an integral part of a student's overall education. Governor Brown's vetoed the bill last Saturday because he claimed that the bill went too far and required too much of a process for addressing and posting specific complaints and procedures. Despite the governor's veto, however, pay-to-play sports are still technically banned by the state constitution of California. This is based off of a 1984 California Supreme Court ruling that reinforced the notion that the state must provide free education and that a school district's financial hardship was not a viable excuse for charging students to participate in extracurricular activities. The problem is that, regardless of the ruling in this case, Hartzell versus Connell, many public and charter school districts in California are still charging their students beyond just voluntary fees for participation. The bill that the governor vetoed would have been a step in adding more strength behind the law, but Governor Brown said it's up to the school district to ensure that they are providing a free education. Obviously, this debate is not only in California, and it is an issue that has been growing over the past few years in the United States as public and charter schools continue to face budget cuts. Join us as we take a closer look at this current hot-button issue.
This is even happening in our very own state, where students who play nothing to play are being forced to pay up to $500 per sport. Let's look at it from a student's point of view. Here we have Chris Mankowsko, a senior tailback on Shelton's football team. Chris, what do you think of the recent play-to-pay changes?
You know, it's almost like a slap in the face for kids that want to do sports, and they're so used to doing it for free for so many years, and then now they have to pay. I know a lot of football players that aren't doing other sports because the fact that they have to pay money for one particular sport.
Not only are students affected, but coaches are also affected by the recent budget cuts and the recent hike to pay-to-play prices. We are going to hear from a coach's point of view.
Hello, I'm the head coach of football at Wolf Lake High School, and they asked me to do this interview because I guess I have a lot of experience in it. So first thing is pay to play. There's two good things to it and a lot of bad. Good thing is helps pay for some of our sports equipment if the school and the district will allow us to pay for it, and also pays the salaries for some coaches. Some of the bad things is the high amount of pay to play has allowed some players to not play sports anymore. As an example, I brought here one of my football captains who is a senior this year who is having difficulty coming up with the money for pay to play. You got anything to say about this?
You know, last year I had such a good season that I had a full ride set up for Central Michigan, and now due to the money factor, I don't even know if I can play. It's struggling. It's struggling to meet the money for pay to play.
To help out our lovely senior here to get his full ride, the Booster Club, we were trying to raise money to help pay for some of the pay to play for some of our students. This is still proving quite difficult, with pay to play reaching some $300. We've already lost 2 players on football, not to mention all the other sports. Other schools are fighting this as well, and quite frankly, we're struggling to get through it, and hopefully we can get enough players to play the season.
Now we're going to hear from a parent's perspective on the pay-to-play issue.
My name is Hank, and in our school district, pay-to-play is already implemented. I have 2 daughters already in sports, and it costs over $200 for both of them to play their individual sports. With the third coming to school this year, I'm worried that I might not be able to afford to pay for all 3 of their extracurricular activities, which is really disappointing because I feel like sports is a very important part of school. It really helps their self-esteem and makes them interact with other students their age. So if this passes and pay-to-pay rates continue and get raised, I'm really worried for their future.
Despite all of this protest we've heard in this broadcast, pay-to-play is a reality that many high schools throughout the nation are facing. Pay to play does make life difficult for parents and students, but many schools feel they have no choice but to implement these programs. Due to budget cuts, many schools feel forced to charge students to participate, or they will not be able to offer sports and other extracurricular activities to their students. Many schools believe that the costs are worth it because extracurriculars are such an integral and important part of the curriculum. Some attempts to overcome these burdens are through fundraisers, grants, and sponsors for teams and clubs. Nonetheless, many schools have not been able to start these alternative forms of funding, and many students and parents are feeling the strain.